Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another video for the month of October. And it's going to be a bit funky with the titles. I'm not sure if I'm going to call them my thoughts on insert title, or if I just put like this. If it's going to be my thoughts on The Burning from 1981, or just The Burning movie review. It'll be one or the other. And that goes for the rest of the movies for this month of October. But The Burning, wanted to review a couple slasher films. I reviewed The Prowler, which I know people like the film. I do not like The Prowler. I think the gore is the only thing going for it. I thought it was a boring, poorly paced, incredibly dull characters, even more dull story, a lot of padding, extended, cat mouse, like a mystery that was not enticing or interesting. Just good gore, that's it. But I want to review a couple other slash films I do enjoy. The one after this is going to be My Bloody Valentine from 1981, which is one of my favorites. A couple videos before this, I reviewed Terror Train, which I think is a great slasher film. This one is not as good as the Terror Train or My Bloody Valentine, but The Burning, I think it's a decent one. Overall, I can say I do like it. It is by Tony Maylam, who went on to work on Split Second with Rutger Hauer, which I love, until he got fired, and then I think like the third act, another director handled it. And this was a story by the Weinsteins. Yes, the Weinsteins, which of course is a lot of controversy nowadays about those guys. But the Weinsteins had their hand in this movie. Before Miramax and all that stuff, they worked on this film. And this film has familiar faces in it, like Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit, Holly Hunter is in a little small role there. One of the leads is, what was her name? Wrote it down because I couldn't remember the name. Leah Ayres? Ayres? Leah Ayres? Leah Ayres? Maybe it's Leah. Leah Ayres? The female reporter in Bloodsport, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And she kind of hooked up with Van Damme's character. Well, I didn't kind of a little bit. Like they had dinner and they talked and stuff. So maybe it's not as much of a hookup, but pretty much one of the only women in Bloodsport. I forgot she was in this movie. And the plot is very simple. It's a group of kids. This counselor named Cropsy have treated them like shit. And they're like, we want to get payback, so we're going to do a prank. The prank goes wrong. Cropsy gets burned. Very good fire gag that I give kudos to the stuntman. Really good time goes on with this guy full body on fire. All done for real. No CG or anything of that nature. And I think the musical score is pretty decent in this too. You hear a bit, if you watch the trailer, you hear bits of the score in it. I like the sound of the sort of, I don't want to say sound effects, but some way the score has that little bit like creep intense factor. Again, you hear it in the trailer if you want to hear bits and pieces of it, especially at the end of the trailer. But yeah, he gets fucked up. That cuts to being in a hospital. And I love this one orderly guy. This one orderly at the hospital, he's so excited or gross or whatever. He's got to get some random guy who just started there as a doctor. And just the dialogue of this orderly said, like, the man's burned so bad he's cut a fucking Big Mac, man. He's overdone. And, it's so enticed of showing this random guy, this burn victim, and the guy wakes up and grabs the orderly's arm, and you get A little bit of what's to come of the makeup effects by Tom Savini. Now, this has some really good gore by Tom Savini, but unlike The Prowler, there's other aspects of this film I enjoy. So it's 5 years later, Cropsy gets released from the hospital, finds this hooker and stabs her in the stomach with shears, and it cuts to a camp with our new group of characters. And I liked these characters. I didn't mind the kids in the movie. Granted, maybe because some of them are recognizable. Jason Alexander's having fun. Uh, he's sort of the funny guy in the group. And Jason Alexander, when he actually had hair. I think this is probably the days when he was doing those McDonald's commercials. When the cool stays cool and the hot stays hot. That Jason Alexander. And he's got energy. He's entertaining. Fisher Stevens, is cool to see him in an early role. Nice to pick out Holly Hunter. And I thought the rest of the cast, you have this sort of quiet guy named Alfred, who is a little bit of the outsider of the group. The lead guy, Brian Matthews, I thought he was easygoing guy. He was the lead camp counselor running this group of kids, and he's romantically involved with the woman from Bloodsport. And oh, they were fine. They were not annoying. I didn't think the acting was bad. I didn't think it was stuttered or. I thought the movie went at a better pace than The Prowler. It didn't get bogged down in this mystery of who give a fuck is. That's what a lot of The Prowler is. And then once in a while, ooh, a cool death scene. But here, at least it was a group of characters I enjoy. They goof on each other. Uh, Jason Alexander tells Fisher Stevens to get out a pea shooter. It's like a BB gun. Ready, aim, fires at this one bully, hits him in the ass. I think Jason Alexander says, like, pork him! So he fires the gun. They have some fun bits of dialogue. Other actors, this one guy named Ned Eisenberg as Eddie, which he definitely sounds like a New Yorker, probably from the Bronx. Because you fucking toss like this. Never toss from fucking New York. You fucking cram down. The fucking trees don't want to be in the fucking bugs and the fucking weather. I want to go back to fucking New York. Be out in the fucking wilderness and the fucking campground is fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And once in a while a death scene happens, like a woman gets her throat cut. The big scene in the movie that anyone who's seen the film or heard the film can think of is the Raft massacre. And that's what it is. Because it does something a little bit different than the last slasher films in the 80s. It takes place in daytime, and it's a bunch of people. Usually the killer wants to kill people one by one in secret. This is like 5, 6 people in one space rafting in daytime in a canoe they're going towards. Now, think about this. If you did not know anything about this film and you're watching back in 1981, but you're like, maybe I know a couple horror movies, I think the first thought would be, oh, they don't find a dead body. And then they're going to get the land, and then they're going to be picked off one by one. Or something like that. There's going to be a dead body there. Probably the woman that got her throat cut. But if you knew nothing about this, I don't think you would expect that the killer would be there and then kill all of them at the same time. And that's definitely the... I think most would say the film shoots his load. Meaning that's where most of the effects go. And then after that, it's like one or two other things. And like there's some decent stuff before, decent stuff after. But it's like the whole movie is, effects-wise, is based on that one scene. And again, it's a memorable fucking scene. Fisher Stevens getting his fingers cut off. Ned Eisenberg gets shears in the throat. A woman gets cut right here, and you see the blood pumping. It's definitely, I thought, an intense scene. Some good editing. I like the bits of slow mo where you see like those shears and the blood fly out. Other death scenes, like I said, the hooker stabbed in the stomach before, and woman's throat cut after the raft massacre. Guy gets stabbed in the neck. And I like the idea that he gets stabbed in the neck, and then the points actually hook on the on the tree, and makes him stuck there. I thought that was a nice little touch. And that guy who gets stabbed in the neck like that, he was sort of the big bully of the group. And I thought the actor did a good job too for the type of character he was playing. And also something interesting it does, different compared to others. The woman from Bloodsport and the others, they find the dead bodies and then they get on a raft and they just get the fuck out of Dodge. Wow, people actually got the fuck out of Dodge. They didn't just wait around with a thumb up their ass. And this is not a slasher film with a lead like final girl, which made it a little bit unique. It was a final, technically two final guys. There's the lead counselor, Brian Matthews, and he's going after the sort of outsider type of kid, Alfred, who the killer's chasing. And Brian Matthews is trying to find Alfred to save him. And he leads him like around these ruins and then to this barn where, Cropsy with a flamethrower. The burn effect could be better. I know even Tom Savini admits that he only had a couple bit of days. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not perfect by a long shot. But they battle it out. Cropsy has a little bit of flamethrower. The alpha guy stabs him in the back with the shears. Comes back alive, and the lead like bears an axe right into the motherfucker's head, which was, I thought, a good crowd pleasing moment. And then they burn the fucker. And it doesn't really leave a sequel bait ending. I mean, yeah, there's a group of people saying, telling a campfire story. Oh, the body was never found, but you don't know if that's embellished or not, like most campfire stories. But it's not like they show that his body was disappeared or anything. They didn't show him opening his eyes, or so they didn't. They didn't really leave room for a sequel, but I guess they gave it a little bit of wiggle room, if in case there was a burning too. But the film did not do well, so nah, nothing came of that. And then when you think about it, like 80 slasher films, people always go to, oh, it's must take place at a camp then. But think about how many slasher films actually take place at a camp. Taking away, Friday the 13th out of the concept. I just did Sleepaway Camp, the Final Terror in a way, but that's not really camp. They're just going hiking in the woods. I wouldn't really call that camp. And I do like the Final Terror. This movie. But then you look at like Final Exam. That wasn't camp. That was some shitty movie that takes place at a shitty college. Not Splatter University. Not Student Bodies. Not My Bloody Valentine. Not The Prowler. Not April Fool's Day, which is a little bit later. So it was cool to see, a camp, a slasher film take place at camp that wasn't just Friday the 13th. I guess in a way someone could say this is one of the better Friday the 13th. No, I can't say that because I like all the Friday the 13th films. Well, Part 8, not really, but the other ones I do like. There's not really a Friday the 13th film I outright hate, although Part 8 is pretty damn close. But the like 1 through 7 and then 9, 10 in the remake, I like all those. But I reviewed all the Friday the 13th movies. See, now I'm going off track, so this review isn't better because the movie is very straightforward. I think that's another thing I liked about the film. It's a very just straightforward movie. If you don't do a mystery, do it well. Don't do it boring like The Prowler. Oh, just give me a straightforward slasher movie, and this is. Nice artwork, too. I do like the artwork of that. That's why I keep showing it. But yeah, I like the musical score. The direction is competent. The characters I thought were likable. I like some of their banter, especially Jason Alexander's character, but the others. I thought that nice rapport. I thought the lead guy, he was fine. I didn't think he was dull or wooden. I thought, natural and seemed like a cool guy to be the lead camp counselor. Like, if I was at a camp, I'd like this guy to be there. He would treat the outside Alfred very well. He wasn't an asshole or anything. Like, the kids all did fine. Likable. I keep mentioning the word likable because I swear nowadays it seems like a tough word to come by with characters in a lot of horror films nowadays. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty decent slasher film. I do enjoy the flick. What would I like more, better, done better? More. I was going to say more kills at the beginning, and like the raft scene is the pinnacle. Like it's kind of in the middle of the movie, but it's before or after that. The murders, the kills they're okay. Kind of that reaction, and maybe that's the thing. Like you didn't just have to have garden shears. Maybe you could use other weapons. I mean, garden shears definitely are an interesting weapon to have. I'm just saying you could have used other weapons too, or maybe cut the hand like this way at one person, or like right here, and then a blade comes through the mouth here, or maybe in the eyes. That would have been an interesting kill. Like, imagine garden shields like through the eyes. Like I said, before and after that raft scene, the kills could have been a bit more, other than just slice throat, stab stomach. Maybe a little bit more inventive. Maybe a little bit more plentiful. Because I think after the raft scene, only one more person dies, and it's the bully. Uh, well, right, he finds the woman he was fucking dead. We don't see her die, but she's dead. Aftermath, and then he gets killed. But not a lot of body count after that. So maybe a bit more body count with more different inventive kills before and after that raft scene. I would say that's my one gripe with the film. I probably could have done that shorter, but I'm sort of piecing it together in my head. Anyway, thanks for watching. This went on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but oh well. Those are my thoughts and feelings on The Burning. A slasher film that I do enjoy, and it was nice to watch this after The Prowler, I'll tell you that much. But take care, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.